Welcome to Deco Guide, the only app designed to help you navigate your college and career journey in the quickest and most affordable way. This podcast is brought to you by EdTechity, dedicated to opening doors to higher education and career opportunities for all.
What's up, everyone? It's Professor G, and hey, I got once again Tio Rob here. He's a life coach, business coach, entrepreneur. He's done it all from being a disc jockey, right? The more I talk to you, the more I learn to now totally health fanatic. Just Rob, you ooze goodness, you ooze just, positive intent, and that's why I love talking to you. So today I want to focus, Rob. I want to focus on one thing. I get a lot of students, I get a lot of people I talk to in counseling that, their life isn't going the way they want it to, or it's not turning out, or it didn't turn out, right, the way they wanted to. And this includes a lot of things. This includes, your schooling, maybe. It includes your profession, what you're doing for work. It includes your love life. It includes your health, your diet. And I don't just mean by health, your body, health, your mind, right? There's all these things that are happening. And most of us, as we grow up, once we leave the home, right? It's real life, and it never usually turns out the way you thought it was going to turn out, but that's a good thing. So Rob, I got to ask you, if I'm at the stage in my life where I have to do something different, right? And some of you listeners, you're at that stage. It's like, okay, I have to now, I realize that what I've been doing isn't really working to get me where I want to be. What is the first stage, right? What is that first step one can do to begin to change those outcomes?
You just did it. The first thing you've got to do is understand that your life isn't necessarily really what you want, okay? And you realize it's time to get your shit together. So,
okay. I've realized my life is I realized, okay, I got to do something different, get my shit together, okay? Because I've heard that before from family, from friends, and I think I even shared that with you. Hey, you got to get your shit together.
I get it. I mean, so it's time,
so
right?
First step done.
Now,
second step now.
Okay. Now, what does that look like, and what does that mean for you? Okay. Now, just to give you a bit of perspective, I mean, I've lived at least 7, 8, 9 different lives in my time, okay? But I've been a little bit different person to this group and that group and so forth and so on and all that stuff. So when I finally sat down and said, okay, Rob, you're getting older now, pal. You got to really get your shit together now and make it happen. So I started to inventory what I meant by that, okay? My weight was way over bad. My health was bad. My diabetes was no good.
So you weren't exercising your body, just right?
No.
Okay.
But so there's a chart you can get online, and it's a life cycle, right? And it helps you identify. It is shaped like a wheel, okay? And each of that, there's like 8 segments in it. Each of those 8 segments represents a different component and quality of your life. It could be your finances. It could be your work, it could be your relations, it could be your health, and so forth and so on. And you're asked to, and it's got little lines in it, okay? So the maximum is, let's say, 10. You fill in the whole blanket, man, this thing's good for me. I'm down with this, I'm good. But over here, Jesus, it's on a 9. It's only a 3, or it's only a 4. And by the time you're filling out this thing, the wheel, it was not going to roll, okay? You're going to go boom, 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 because some things are bad. So that organizes the effort. It organizes your thinking and really what your priorities are. Now, once the wheel is filled in all the way, and not many people achieve all of that, okay? But at least if you know the thing that requires the most attention, the second most attention, the third most attention, and so forth and so on, and you're making a conscious effort to address those issues, get the resources, there's plenty of them out there. A lot of people hire me with this process. And the idea is to turn what are underachieving elements of your life into moments you can look at and say, damn, that really works for me. Because by the time you're
done, give me some examples. Come on, Rob, you got to give me some examples, right?
All right. So
you've worked with tons of people. You've seen people change, okay? Give me some concrete examples here.
All right. So let's say that you own a business. You got an education, you started a business, you saved up your money, and you had your own business now, okay? And you're working like crazy, making that business grow and so forth and so on. But before you know it, geez, the relationship with my kids not that good. My relationship with my wife, oh man, that's not doing good either. So I bring those problems because of the choices that I make. I made some bad choices with my time. Let's all recognize that the most valuable asset any one of us has is time.
Right, because you don't get that back. You don't get it back.
You can't buy it. You can't do anything with it. So it's the choices that you make with the time that you have. They're going to direct any and all of these issues. So the guy goes off to work, and he left a house where the kids were kind of complaining that they're not behaving the way he likes. He doesn't have the relationship with them that he likes. My wife's mad at me because I'm never around, and I'm not paying attention to the problems.
And he's trying to work to make money to keep the house, the roof over the head, the food on the table. Okay, so doing a good thing, but he's losing out on this other stuff.
Bingo. And so now he goes to work, and by the time he gets to work, he's kind of pissed. He's not in the best frame of mind. Here I am again, and he's not necessarily paying attention to the deals coming his way, to the circumstances and the facts and the decisions that he needs to make and so forth. So he makes kind of irrational or quick decisions. That pisses everybody off at work, and it pisses off his vendors, his customers, and so forth and so on. But he's making money because he's got a good product and so forth. But what a lousy life. And so what does he do? He drinks a little bit too much. He eats too much, and that affects his health. He doesn't sleep that good because he's got, upset stomachs, and he goes to bed with too much of a heat on and all those things. His life is falling apart.
Even though there's income coming in, even though the family's technically intact, right? But not operating on a healthy...
cost. Yeah. Exactly. So you have to balance all that stuff out. And so when I met a career out of working with a few hundred businesses that were having issues, the underlying issues were all in this space, okay? These were all the things that happened to deteriorate the performance of the company. Key people were leaving him. Some of his key people would start their own
get different
business.
Employees, and that hurts a business, right? When your employees leave, right? To
especially
other
when the
companies
best ones
they enjoy it.
Yeah. And when the best ones take your idea with them and they do a better job that you did because they recognize how you...
Now they're competition.
Okay. Bingo. And let's say that you're an employee working for that guy, okay? And you're just, he was a good guy when I first met him and we were doing good and so forth and so on, but man, lately he's just not there for me. I'm not going anywhere in this company. I handed in my resignation.
And he's not a bad guy. He's not a bad guy. He's trying to juggle all of this, from being an entrepreneur to the family to all the other stresses that might be in that person's life, right? And I mean, we don't choose to be bad people. I think I'm a firm believer that we're good people who sometimes make bad choices.
And our choices are influenced by our domestication, okay? The way that my family operated when I was growing up. Maybe I didn't have a dad. Maybe I had a bad dad, whatever that might be. Maybe my friends and I didn't make the best choices there. So there may be a lot of baggage that I bring to the table with this problem. Okay? So when I would do these things, I would look at the problems, that finding the business solution wasn't that difficult. Okay? I mean, you can go in there and I can diagnose the problem pretty quickly, and I could look at, they lost some income, da-da-da-da-da-da. But before we're going to do anything, and I could design a plan to take us from where we are now to where you want to be. Or I can design a plan that the guy that's got the money wants to start a business. I can take care of those things. However, who's leading this effort? What do we need to do with them to A, prevent this from reoccurring, and B, to do a much better job than you've done so far?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
So those are what it's all about, Mauricio. I mean, it's just crazy so that's really why at this point in my life, I'm more excited, more energized about what I'm doing for a living than anything, than I've ever been. Because I could take these business issues, I could take legal and finance and compliance and all that stuff, but I could also help to bring and develop the person leading this effort or the key employee.
And I think you said it just right. You said you have to take an inventory, right? Of what is it, right? That's that first step. The first step is recognizing, hey, I still have time on this earth. Whatever I'm not happy with right now, I can potentially start to work on it and get it in a much better spot, right? Exactly. That's that recognition you said, is recognize that you still have time to change something. right?
Well,
and then the inventory is having the right attitude of like, I can change. I just got to figure out what the issues that are all interconnected really are. And then begins that first real step of that inventory, right?
Exactly. But now we've got it all laid out. We're halfway there. Here's the other half, okay? Where the why is sufficient, the what doesn't matter.
Give me another example of that.
Okay, so let's say that I'm walking downtown San Francisco, and I see two buildings connected to each other with a high wire. Some guy on the street offers me, $10,000 if I wanted to go across that high wire and go from one building to the next. No net. No way, man. All right, how about $100,000? No, I'm sorry, I don't do that very well. He says, how about $1 million? I said, I wouldn't do it for $10 million. However, I see my granddaughter in the room across the way, and my granddaughter's got a guy on her, and he's got a knife at her throat. I'm going across that wire. Okay? I'm going across that wire. Now I have enough motivation to do that. And I'm telling you, whether it's quitting smoking, losing weight, adopting new behaviors, making better choices, anything like that, the first thing you've got to do is swallow the pill and say, the why is enough, and I'm ready to make the change that I need to make.
Yeah. Okay. Absolutely.
And it could be on
you nailed it.
It is. Well, I just nailed it. That was Dr. Stephen R. Covey from 30 years ago with the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So there's just there's a lot of good stuff out there, tons of it, and my library is crazy with what's going on in it, And so all these things, it took me 50 years to read all that stuff and try and figure it out. Here I am.
Wow. And that's what makes you such a great coach, right? Because you can tell us, first and foremost, the change is going to be difficult, but it starts with these small baby steps, right? Of just establishing the need of you wanting to change, right? Having that right attitude, and then really doing the inventory and starting to identify some of the things we can change it. And Rob, every time you come on, you bring us this knowledge, right? So step 1 is that. And that's what we're talking about today. Step 2 is going to be something totally different, but you first got to go through step 1 to begin that life change. And so, Rob, our goal here at Techo Guide is to keep things short for our listeners so that they quickly understand, move forward.
Right size.
And so, step 1, y'all, you heard it from Tio Rob, expert business coach, expert life coach, has an enormous amount of experience to really help you get from point A to point Z in your life, right? And be the happiest person able to do that. So Rob, again, thank you very much for step 1.
You're welcome.
Our following podcast, we'll go to step 105 later. Yeah. But step 1 starts with you recognizing there's something that you can change, and then begin to do your inventory.
And any questions that anybody may have, they just send an email in and say, can Rob, here's something I would like him to talk about. And either I'll send you back an email or I'll cover it in a future podcast, whatever. But I love individual people saying, okay, here's my issue. This is what I have to deal with. How would you help me, Rob? Boom. I'm right there.
You'll be able to find Rob's email in the description, in the short description under these videos and podcasts. So please feel free to reach out. You heard it from him first.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Rob. Much appreciated.
All right. You bet. Take good care.
Thank you for tuning into Techo Guide, the app focused on bringing you tools and content to help you make better decisions about school, life, and career. We hope this episode has inspired you to pursue and excel in your own educational and career journey. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, and share.